Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Air Warriors, The Walking Dead, Andrea's rifle. This blaster came out in 2017, making it the oldest blaster I've ever reviewed on the channel currently, and is part of the Air Warriors, The Walking Dead line. And Air Warriors is a sub-brand of Busby Toys. Busby is also the manufacturer of the Adventure Force Double Fire, a blaster I reviewed on the channel a little while back. So kind of interesting to see how another Busby blaster is. So this is the second Busby blaster I'll be reviewing on the channel. And I will say has a very odd collaboration with the Walking Dead comics. After researching this blaster a little bit, I found that it's not made in collaboration with the TV show. It's made in collaboration with the comics, which probably explains the comic book zombies and comic book looking characters, and the back wall is all comic book panels. So it's a very strange collaboration here. So with that out of the way, let's get started by talking about the box. So starting off at the front of the box, as you can see, we have this very open packaging here where we can see the blaster as well as the darts, and not a lot of information on the front of the box except for big old letters, bolt action, dart blasting, and very, very optimistic range claims. I doubt this thing's gonna go 100 feet. Maybe I'll be surprised today. Down here by the zombies, we have our content list. Includes 8 long distance darts, not sure what these little darts are, clip, it's really a magazine, and a scope. And the blaster is ages 6+, which is interesting because most of the blasters I reviewed on the channel are ages 8+ or higher. Flipping it to the other side, we get a little bit more information about the blaster, starting with over here. Here we can see they pasted the instructions on how to use the blaster on the back of the box. Not sure if they have paper instructions on the inside, so I'll have to see when we open it. But this blaster is a bolt action blaster, similar to the Nerf Fortnite HR that I reviewed on the channel a while back. Except this thing came out a few years earlier, so I think that's just kind of cool. Onto the big blaster graphic here, we can see a little bit more information about the blaster itself. Starting off with the back, we have a stock, trigger, clip or release button, an Ultratech clip, which is registered trademark by Busby, a removable scope, bolt action, bolt lever action, so it's bolt action blaster, has the barrel, and that range claim again. Also, it says it can work with most major brands of darts, which we will see. We will see. Also, we have advertisements for other Walking Dead blasters. I doubt I can find any of these because I haven't seen them at Target at all, so it's been a long time. So with that out of the way, let's get this thing out of the box. Alright, here we have Andrea's rifle out of the box, and usually I like to start off with the paperwork, but this time the paperwork is on the back of the box. That little instruction graphic I showed earlier are the actual instructions for this blaster, but it does seem to be a pretty simple operation, so throwing away this box shouldn't be a problem, hopefully. We're going to talk about the darts real quick. Here we have our 8 Busby long distance darts, and in the Adventure Force Double Fire review, I didn't use them, but today I am going to be using them. This is for all of those who've commented on my video saying you're not using the darts the blaster came with, but today we are. On to the blaster itself, starting off with its controls. This has a rotating bolt, so you rotate it up, pull back. The prime is not super heavy, but also not really that light either. Trigger. The trigger has to move pretty far back before it engages the catch, so there's that. It is a pretty heavy pull as well. Kind of loud too. Magazine release. Does drop the magazine out. It's this little push button here. Kind of different from what we're used to seeing. And here we have our Ultratech clip. It's a 8-round magazine. Has the instructions of how to remove it on a sticker on the back of the magazine. The next feature is the scope. Here's our scope here. And there's your sight picture, if it will focus. Kind of-ish focusing. I don't know. There's two plastic end caps on here. It's a pretty interesting looking scope. Kind of cool. And I'm not sure if the rail works with other brands, so I have this Super Soaker scope here that I'm going to attach. I don't think it's supposed to go on here. Kind of does, kind of works, but kind of doesn't, so, because that's not fully attached. So I'm just going to go ahead and say no, it's not compatible with other accessories, but at least at the time, Busby had quite a few accessories, so I don't know. They had their own accessory system. All right, on to magazine compatibility. Here I have a plethora of different magazines, starting off with the standard Nerf 6-round magazine. Seems to go in well. The bolt does feel like you have to push it in a little harder than with the mag that it comes with. It does drop out the same. What about the 18-rounder? Seems to fit in. Well, same as this, push it in a little harder. And the reason I like to try out the 18-rounders is because of this little lump here. Some blasters don't accept the 18-round magazines because this lump here is preventing them from going to the blaster, but this one seems to work pretty well. Because of its sheer weight, it should just drop out. What about the drum? This is the 25-round Nerf drum. Goes in pretty well for when you need a high amount of fire from long range. And this thing, of course, weighs a ton, so it just drops out. Well, what about another brand of magazine? This is the Dart Zone 12-round magazine. It's from the Vulcanator. It's pretty good. Oh yeah, I just pulled it out, but it does drop, just like the others. And last, we have the Adventure Force Pro magazine. Still works just like all the other magazines. So I'm just gonna go out and say it, this blaster is pretty compatible with other magazines. All right, I think that's a definitive test. This blaster seems to be compatible with most of the standard magazines. So with that all out of the way, let's go out on the range and see how this thing fares. All right, here we are on the range. As you can see, we have our target set up. We're starting off with the Busby long distance darts. See how accurate this thing is. See if we can hit anything. Also, the scope kind of has this weird distortion effect on it, so I don't know how it will affect accuracy. Wait a minute. I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, I'm not like hitting anything, but they are going somewhat near the target. Got one more. Just so you know, I shot 8 of those long distance darts, but Nerf, Adventure Force, and Dart Zone will all be firing 6. I just wanted to fire all 8 of them because might as well show its full capacity with the darts it came with. All right, we're gonna set the targets back up and move on to the next dart. And yes, I am aware that I'm not shooting zombies, I'm shooting dinosaur eggs. I don't have any zombies. And I also was very impressed on how well the long distance darts were going. But I was also very impressed how straight those long distance darts were. I wonder if it's the darts or the blaster. In order to test that, we're gonna move on to the least accurate dart, or at least within all the tests I've had with them, Nerf Elite. Maybe the blaster will finally make these accurate. It seemed to load in the blaster pretty well. Let's see if we hit anything. It might be the blaster, because they're not curving all over the place. I wasn't aiming well at that. They're like a little bit straighter. They're still flying all over the place, but oh, got something. I think that's the last one. Yeah, last one. I mean, with a little practice, I think I could hit some of them, kind of finding how those darts go. So, yeah, didn't hit much, but I think I could zero it in or something. All right, on to the next dart. All right, on to Dart Zone, or on to Adventure Force. Let's see how these fare. Went down. I'm taking the scope off, see if I can actually try to hit something. Oh, got it. Let's go with last shot too. Like I said, a little bit of practice, you could zero this thing in. I'm just used to them not flying that straight. This blaster is just, this baffles me. I don't know why they're flying straight. I don't get it. Anyway, on to the last dart. On to Dart Zone. Oh, went a little bit up. Too high. Got something. One more. Oh, almost. All right, I will say one thing about this blaster. I'm actually surprised on how accurate it is. Like, or at least not accurate, straight shooting this thing. Even with Nerf, this thing was shooting pretty straight. We'll see how well it does with range. So on to the range test. All right, here we are at the range test. And as usual, for context, the chicken represents 25 feet. The swan represents 35 feet. And the frog represents 40 feet. And the very back wall represents 50 feet from where I'm standing. We're going to start off the test with Busby's long distance darts. The darts the blaster came with. See if it can reach that 100-foot range. No, but maybe angled. That reached the 40-foot mark. I went less than 25. I think I was aiming down. It's a little hard to aim this thing right now. Oh, the wind pushed that one down. It's a little breezy today, so. Oh, wind picked that one up. It's shooting them really straight, I will say that. And that one went, and we're out. All right, on to the next dart, on to Nerf. See if it'll hit any of the walls. Oh, no. Oh, went to the 40-foot mark. I will say one thing, this blaster is a little hard to load. Prime is a little heavy. Go ahead and pick that one up. Like, they're going pretty far. Picked up by the wind. All right. On to Adventure Force. Ooh, that one put 40 feet. Last dart, on to Dart Zone. Oh, hit the wall. I was just aiming weird. 40 foot. Down to 40 foot. Didn't pick that one up. All right, let's go check out those ranges. All right, let's see those ranges. From what I saw, Nerf, Dart Zone, Adventure Force, and the Buzzbee darts all were going beyond the 40-foot mark. And some of them are landing a little bit before right here, like 35, 36, 37 kind of feet. But most of them are going past the 40-foot mark. And some, I feel like, went beyond that. So that's kind of cool. A few of them were landing a little short. But I think that was just because I was aiming down. At one couple of darts that hit the wall, that was because I was aiming to the left a little bit or to the right a little bit. Those are the things that hit the wall. Anyway, I think Buzzbee went the most consistent. Nerf went the farthest, I think. And then Dart Zone and Adventure Force went pretty short. Not too sure exactly what kind of distances. I'll just put up on screen now what I think from reviewing the footage a little bit later. Yeah. So with that all out of the way, let's move on to the speed test. All right, here we are at the speed test. Starting off with Buzzbee long distance. Let's see how this fares. 49, 65, 51, 57, duplicate 57, 52 or 72, 54, and 56. All right, on to the next dart, on to Nerf. 52, 60, 74, duplicate 74, 68, duplicate 68. All right, on to the next dart. On to Adventure Force. What the heck? 43, 78, error, 53, 56, out of ammo. All right, on to the last dart, Dart Zone. 49, 53, 65, 70, 56. Nothing? What the heck? Oh, I had a jam. I haven't had a jam in a while. And 62. All right. Pretty surprising results. Not really, it's pretty standard stuff. Put all the average speeds on screen now. And with all the tests, all the trials out of the way, let's move on to my final thoughts.
All right, so what are my final thoughts on the Walking Dead Andrea's rifle? Before we do that though, as usual, we need to go worry about it, how much I spent. This blaster was purchased at Target for $14.99 USD, and I'm pretty sure it is a Target exclusive because I have never seen this anywhere else besides Target. So a couple of things before we continue. When priming the blaster, you can fire it without having the lever down, unlike the Nerf Fortnite HR, where you had to put it down. So that's just a neutral thought here. Nothing else neutral to say about the blaster, so let's move on to pros and cons. All right, starting off with cons, the biggest con about this blaster is definitely its build quality. This blaster does flex and bend. It's really creaky, and is overall a low-cost blaster. And this is apparently a problem with other Busby blasters on the market. I even have experience with this with the Adventure Force Double Fire. The one I used in the review actually broke a couple months later. After giving a good review, it kind of fell apart. And so I went out and bought another one. That one hasn't broken yet, but this blaster right here is no different. Take a look at this seam here, right between where the plastic pieces meet. We pull back the handle, you can know that the seam opens. That is definitely not supposed to happen, but it does. Other issues that could be seen as a problem is there's some pinch points on here, like where the bolt goes down. I have pinched my hand several times during the speed test and other tests by trying to lower it like that, and it gets caught right there, and it does hurt. Not too bad if you're careful enough and train yourself to just flick it down like so without having to use your palm or anything. You should be fine. Ergonomically, this blaster is a little uncomfortable due to the size of the handle, but then again, this blaster is HS6 Plus. Can't complain about too much, but then again, it could be seen as a problem, especially if the person is a little bigger. This could be seen as an issue. Other than that, nothing else to say. So let's move on to pros. All right, so on to pros. First off, the overall aesthetics. I do kind of like the overall aesthetics of it. Even though it has a really small stock that doesn't really match the rest of the blaster, it's still pretty decent looks. It's pretty decent looks to it. Cool scope and everything. I really like the rotating bolt action aspect of this blaster. There's not that many blasters out there that have that these days. So I think it's a really cool feature. And the one thing that this blaster does that a lot of other blasters like it don't do well is shooting straight. Especially even with this long barrel, it still shot straight and went pretty far. I was surprised. All the darts were going straight. Even Nerf. Nerf is that knack for like flying all over the place, but this thing it went pretty straight. So I do like that about this blaster. You also got an 8-round magazine, unlike other blasters give you 6 or something. It's kind of cool to have that in your collection. Very simple, easy blaster to use. You know, very compatible with other darts, so pretty nice. So would I recommend the blaster? I'm a little mixed on whether or not if I'd recommend it or not. Even though it has a cool rotating bolt action to it, and it's a cool looking blaster, it does fit in the low cost department. I don't know how long this blaster is going to last, and even if it will last that long. So just keep that in mind if you are shopping and wanting to buy this. For $14.99, I'd expect a little bit better quality than this, but then again, can't complain too much because it's also a branded product. This is a Walking Dead blaster after all. It's copyright, it's license tax on it, so can't complain about too much, but there's definitely other blasters out there for that cost that are a little better quality. Anyway, comment your thoughts about this blaster down below. Comment what else you want to see on this channel. Be sure to check out my Nerf Fortnite HR video, another rotating bolt action blaster. Be sure to check out my other videos. I'll have both those linked at the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.